Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome back to World of Warships. We're dialing things back a little today for a spot of mid-tier action. Now, this is a tier 6 maximum game, so you can probably expect to see people doing stupid things, and don't be surprised, and don't get angry. It's okay to laugh about it, but you definitely shouldn't be surprised. This is Loyalwatcher in the USS Hill. It's a premium tier 5 American destroyer. And it's basically a USS Nicholas, except with one extra gun turret, although that central turret is kind of awkward, and angling the ship sufficient to get that thing firing exposes you to an awful lot of return fire. It also doesn't quite have as much health as the USS Nicholas, but it's got a much tighter turning circle. Oh, and its stealth isn't very good either. But the best thing about the USS Hill, and in fact also the best thing about the USS Nicholas, is that they're both tier 5. And so it's highly unlikely that they're ever going to get into any game that has a lot of radar, unless they're unlucky, find themselves bottom tier, and the enemy team has a couple of Atlantas or Indianapolises. But that is not the case here, because this is a tier 6 game. We're here on the straight map, which as usual starts with both teams split across the northern and southern ends of the map, and Loyalwatcher is heading straight for the first cap here in the south, which is a fairly brave move considering his relatively poor stealth and the fact that there is a carrier in play. But he is fast enough to get here, hopefully without being spotted along the way, and he has the sense to turn off his anti-aircraft guns in order to not reveal his position by inadvertently shooting at any aircraft that aren't actually close enough to spot him. He should be able to slip into the cap and smoke up, and yes, that's what he's doing. But he has been spotted. Oh, and the enemy team have a Shinonome. Well, his torpedoes are ready to go, and they don't have great range, but this is definitely close enough. So he puts some torpedoes into the Shinonome smokescreen, fully expecting that the Shinonome is going to be doing exactly the same into his, while shooting at what appears to be an extremely brave HMS Devonshire, tier 6 heavy cruiser. The good thing about the American smokescreen generator is that it has a very long activation time. So you can make a very, very big smokescreen to reduce the chances that any torpedoes fired into it are going to find a target. What the hell is the Devonshire doing? Well, I did tell you that we were going to see some extremely stupid things in this battle, and it's okay to laugh, but don't be surprised. And that's the first blood award, Scratch 1 tier 6 heavy cruiser. For some bizarre reason, no torpedoes from the Shinonome, or at least none fired in the direction of Loyalwatcher's USS Hill. There are some torpedoes, but they've kind of headed in that direction. A couple of them have already hit that Trento, although they could have been the Devonshire's torpedoes. That Trento apparently didn't get the memo about not firing your guns when you're in a smokescreen in a heavy cruiser and you're this close to enemy ships if you want to remain undetected. Coincidentally, that Trento was also today's candidate for World of Warships Arsehole of the Week. Oh, look, torpedoes. Oh, look, more torpedoes. Who the hell is the Minakaze launching those torpedoes at? I mean, it could be at the Kirov, border humping 12 kilometers away, or possibly at the Warspite, but I don't think the Minakaze has much chance of those torpedoes. Yeah, they're going for the Warspite. Well, you never know your luck. Oh, look, the Shinonobe's been spotted. So, yeah, those were almost certainly his torpedoes. His smokescreen is expiring, so he's ducked behind the island, which is absolutely the smart thing to do. Or has he? What the hell? First salvo takes out his engine, but he's not completely stupid. He's running the last stand skill, so he keeps moving. Unfortunately, that slows him down just enough to ensure that he loses a torpedo fight to an American destroyer. Like I said, expect there to be lots of stupid in this battle. Don't be surprised by it, but it is okay to laugh. We were talking about today's contender for Arsehole of the Week, weren't we? Yes, that Trento. If you've been paying attention in chat, he has quite literally had nothing good to say about anything. And even though now he's just been sunk by the enemy Warspite, that trend is going to continue. Looks like the Warspite's engine is out. Yes, the Warspite's engine is out, and because unlike destroyers, battleships don't normally take the last stand skill, that Warspite is going to chew on some sea sausages. No flooding, but he is on fire. Yep, it's not a particularly good day to be in a Queen Elizabeth class battleship. He is in range of the Warspite secondaries, but they're not particularly accurate. That's the major difference between the Warspite and the Queen Elizabeth. Queen Elizabeth has better AA, Warspite has better secondaries. I mean, there are other differences, but that's probably the difference that you're going to notice the most. The Warspite is pushing on. Well, I'm not going to say this is stupid, because he's on extremely low health and he's getting shot at from all angles, so he probably just wants to get some serious damage in before his inevitable demise. He's stringing things out as long as he possibly can. This is actually some decent play from the Warspite here. I mean, you can argue that he's pushed too far forward, but it's not his fault. His team died all around him. Now he's just trying to make the most of a very bad situation. He's managed to get the arm in between himself and the Bayern. He's clinging on for dear life. He's avoided almost all of the torpedoes fired at him. He's got the fires under control. Can he kill the Minakaze? Or... oh, no. Oh well, never mind. You know what? Well done to the Warspite. Did the best that he could do in a bad situation. Only 2 enemy ships down at this end of the map. The Bayern doing the smart thing and evacuating to the north. The Ark Royal not doing the smart thing, still camped in the bottom corner of the map. Apparently, aircraft carriers don't have engines. Actually, that might explain why it's so difficult to set them on fire. Well, I don't know, it's as good a reason as any. You tell me why something that's full of aviation fuel and explosives can't be set on fire for more than 5 seconds. The Ark Royal, by the way, is getting shot at by the Bayern, the Fuso, and the Ryujo, so he'll be dead really soon, right? Just like the other Tier 6, the Devonshire, right at the start of the battle. Yeah, we'll be back several minutes later when the Ark Royal finally goes down. In the meantime, it looks like Loyalwatcher is finally going to secure this cap. I think he kind of deserves it. God knows he's put the effort in. And... yep, there it is. Okay. Enemy Bayern up ahead, escaping the slaughter of his teammates in the south by running away up to the north. Coincidentally, pretty much exactly the same thing has been happening in reverse at the northern end of the map. Observe the friendly Königsberg, who is trying to run away to the south. Except there's a dirty great big Bayern doing exactly the same thing except in the other direction. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but the Königsberg has just fired his torpedoes, not in the direction of the Bayern, and is now giving him a broadside to shoot at. He noticed the Bayern just in time to go, oh shit. Fortunately, the Bayern's paying even less attention to him than he was paying to the Bayern. And yes, the Ark Royal is still alive. I mean, of course he is. Killing carriers is against the game's terms of service. Unfortunately for the Königsberg, judging by the way the Bayern is steering, and the way his turrets are pointing, i.e. no longer at his pursuers, I think he has just noticed the Königsberg. And that's extremely bad news for the Königsberg, because, like most Tier 5 cruisers that aren't the Fuhr attacker, the Königsberg is made out of citadels. This really is a problem of the Königsberg's making. I mean, he just wasn't paying attention to his minimap. First, he fired his torpedoes, which have a 6-kilometre range, against a bunch of ships that were 7 kilometres away from him, instead of the Tier 6 battleship approaching him from the south at a range of 4 kilometres. And now, of course, with the Bayern that close, he cannot stealth up and he's getting shot at by everybody. Meanwhile, here's the Ark Royal. Yep, still alive. Only just discovered where his W key is. Immune to fires, immune to floods, because what aircraft carrier ever got sunk by burning or flooding? Oh yeah. Well, he's dead now. Loyalwatcher's 4th kill. Of course, the Königsberg is dead as well. There is still one friendly Bayern hanging on for dear life up to the north, with at least 5 ships shooting at him. And can't really run to the south without giving broadside to 2 Bayerns and a Normandy. So, well, good luck with that. But let's see how long he can hold on for, because the cavalry is on the way. Meanwhile, the Trento's being toxic in chat, because that's basically all he does in this game. Hang on a minute. There's a Bayern charging south. Wait, is that the same Bayern that was running away to the north just a minute? It is. Wow. Well, he just found his brave pills. Although I'd love to see what was going on in the enemy team chat. Come on, boys. We've got this. Who's with me? Yeah, I imagine it probably went something like that. He does know there's a Minakaze there, doesn't he? And he's charging into the torpedoes. I mean, he has to know. He's within spotting range. He's managed to avoid the torpedoes. Is he actually going to kill the Minakaze? Is a Minakaze... Oh, dear. Oh, wow. Well, the Minakaze just lost a gunfight to a Bayern. No big surprise there. But the Bayern is not going to survive this encounter. Now, back to our friend the Trento. Once again, I don't know if he understands the concept of the word irony. First, he calls the Minakaze an idiot. And to be fair, what the Minakaze did there wasn't the smartest thing I've ever seen anybody do in a Tier 6 battle. But he's calling the Minakaze an idiot because he charged into a cap circle that was contested by a Bayern at close range. And now, after calling the Minakaze an idiot for doing that, he's telling Loyalwatcher to do exactly the same thing with another Bayern charging into the cap circle from the north. So, Minakaze, you're an idiot. Hill, go and do what the Minakaze just did. It's like the concept of irony has just passed clean over his head. Loyalwatcher's going to have a go, but, well, his stealth is not good. And if the Minakaze couldn't get away with it, he definitely can't. But he's having a go, or at the very least, he's sending some torpedoes in the direction of the Bayern, and he has been spotted, but at the moment at least, nobody's targeting him. But he's definitely not dumb enough to be going into that cap circle. It's just far too dangerous. His smoke screen's on cooldown, and he's not going to take out a Bayern with his guns if the torpedoes miss. Now he is being targeted, but he's gotten a couple of good torpedoes on that Bayern. And is the flooding sticking? Yep, steam coming out of the funnels. The Bayern is flooding. So if Loyalwatcher can just avoid dying for the next couple of seconds while he gets out of line of sight, and oh, there's the high caliber reward, well done. I think that might be a kill on the Bayern. You see how that flooding continues to stack up? And yeah, I'm pretty sure that that is the Kraken Unleashed. Kill number 5. An extremely useful kill because not only has it relieved the pressure on the cap circle, but the team are no longer behind by 2 kills. Still 4 enemy ships left. The 2 cruisers are probably going to be the biggest problem for Loyalwatcher as he attempts to secure this cap, so he actually asks his team to do something for him in the first time in this game. Please get those cruisers. The Trento replies with a helpful suggestion that instead, Loyalwatcher gets his nuts. Not an entirely helpful suggestion on the part of the Trento, it has to be said. Loyalwatcher does get a lucky break here, however, as the friendly carrier spots the enemy Mutsuki, giving him a couple of valuable seconds to get the guns turned around before the Mutsuki counter spots him. He's over the cap circle border, there goes the smoke, and here go the guns. The Mutsuki obviously tried to do to the friendly Fuso what the Minakaze tried to do to the enemy Bayern earlier, and with about the same level of success. And judging by the way the Mutsuki was turning, it's unlikely that there are any torpedoes coming this way. Now, who's going to be the biggest threat here? Well, the Normandy's the one that we can see, so the Normandy's the one that... Well, great, now we can't actually... Somebody's going to have to spot. Luckily, the carrier does have aircraft overhead. That enemy Nürnberg is proving to be a real pain in the arse. His blind fire into the smoke is proving to be uncomfortably accurate. Loyalwatcher's torpedoes are ready to go again. He really doesn't have that much to worry about from the Normandy. The 2 enemy cruisers, the Nürnberg in particular, who has just come out from behind the island and has given a nice flat broadside to shoot at. But nobody's shooting at it. What are you going to do? Oh, I don't know. I mean, maybe from where the Fuso is, he didn't have the firing angles to shoot at the Nürnberg, or the Nürnberg's gone undetected again, so he didn't have time to swing the turrets around, and he is getting shot at by the Normandy. And only getting shot at by the Normandy, which is what makes the Fuso's current health level extremely surprising, because the last time we saw him he was on 46,100 health, and now he's on practically none. It may be that the Mutsuki did manage to get some torpedoes away. We didn't actually see it. But that's something that we could very definitely have done without. And now he's attracting fire not just from the Normandy. It looks like the Normandy's just sitting there waiting to be citadeled, but he's actually playing it quite smart. He's got the island between him and the Fuso's guns, so he is giving broadside, but the Fuso can't actually do anything about it. Loyalwatcher, of course, can, just very, very slowly, because he's only armed with 5-inch guns. Instead, the Fuso's trying to take out the Nürnberg on the far side of the island, but even that is kind of dubious. Oh, there's the Confederate award. Is this going to be a kill? I think it needs to be a kill. Come on. He's put the fires out. Nice, the Fuso got the Nürnberg. Good stuff. Come on, one more salvo. Do it for Uncle Sam. There it is. Kill number 6. In the spirit of credit where credit's due, the Fuso's positioning, given the circumstances that he was under and the low health that he was on, was actually fairly smart too. Yes, he couldn't shoot at the Normandy because the Normandy was too close to the other side of the island, but the Normandy couldn't shoot at him either. And keeping that island in the way ensured that the Nürnberg wasn't able to get any successful torpedo launches off either. So well done to him. Also, again, credit where credit's due, well done to the friendly carrier, the Ryujo, because he has been invaluable in this game. His spotting has been pretty good all round, and he's managed to find the last surviving enemy cruiser, who took the long way around the island, hoping to get some flanking shots, but instead succeeded only in ensuring that he was no use whatsoever to the Nürnberg and the Normandy when they really needed it. That was definitely a bad decision. But again, credit where credit's due. He's not top tier, he's in a cruiser that's made entirely out of citadels, and he's managed to survive this long while getting a kill and being useful to the team with most of his health intact, which is not easy to do in a tier 5 cruiser that isn't the fur attacker. Loyalwatcher, however, has definitely taken his brave pills and he's strapping his man pants on. Although, he's checking to make sure that the Fuso can actually shoot at the Königsberg as well. But I definitely wouldn't encourage you to get into a gunfight with a same tier cruiser that had 9,000 more health than you when you don't have a smokescreen and you're in a destroyer. But he's doing it smart. He's waiting to ensure that the Königsberg is completely engaged, and he is shooting at the Fuso. Torpedoes away, and here we go. He waited until the Königsberg turned to give the most possible broadside. Not that he's hoping to get any high explosive citadels, but he just wants to make sure that all 5 of these guns have the best possible chance of hitting the target. And they do. We're up for a potential 7th kill here. He's still not targeted, although that situation probably isn't going to last very long. There's a fire. Possibly 150,000 damage. No. Nope, just short. He's just going to have to settle for 149,000 damage at 7 kills. First Blood, Kraken Unleashed, High Caliber, and Confederate. God damn it, Loyalwatcher, you had one job. You had one job, get 150,000 damage. I don't know, kids these days. But seriously, extremely well done. And I hope everybody else enjoyed watching you carrying the un-carryable, because that's it for the day. And as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.